Hey, everybody. Good morning, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Pelion, South Carolina. Y'all, this is where the magic happens. Here at Worm Wizard Castings, it's currently 77 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. It's approximately 8:30 or so in the morning. The crickets are still cricketing out there in the edge of the woods. And y'all, this is going to be our first Wednesday this is a Wednesday Worm Wizard walkthrough. Once a week on Wednesdays, on Hump Day. It's Wednesday, my dudes. On Hump Day, every day, or every Wednesday, I do a Worm Wizard walkthrough. And I walk through and check out all my hungry bins, and we get a good look and see what the situation is on the inside the hungry bins and see what the Worm Wizards are doing. And y'all, today is no exception. Today is Hump Day. It's Wednesday, my dudes. I know I done said that like 3 times. But y'all, let's get into it. I'm already starting to sweat, and I still got to go feed Jack and the girls. And Nugget, can't forget about Mr. Nugget. So y'all, let's get into it. Without further ado, let's see what's going down in Wormtown today, y'all. All right. Here we go. I personally haven't opened up these bins since Monday. I was out here yesterday, but I did not open the bins and actually look in to see what was going on. So, gonna be a little bit of a surprise for me too, y'all. Let's see. All right. I already see. I got a little extra cardboard I layered in here. And I noticed that because it's been raining so much and it's been so humid, I've been finding more worms falling on the floor. Look at there, they're all over the lid there too. Check it out. Oop, I zoomed in a little too much there, didn't I? But because it's been raining so much and been so humid, the worms have been crawling around on the inside of the bins. I figured they'd be, because I've been finding them on the floor, falling out on the floor, getting all dried up on the floor. I've been having to sweep them up. Because I don't know if you've been following the channel very long, you know I started propping these bins open with these little pieces of bamboo. And when I started propping these bins open and letting the air circulate in there, it kept the inside from condensating so much, and the worms weren't crawling on the lids and on the sides too much. So I hadn't been having them fall out on the floor or anything. But it's been so humid and been raining so much, I guess it's so wet they've been crawling around more. Oh, look back there in the corner. Check it out, y'all. Yes, sir. Wonder what we're going to see. I think it was Sunday. I put some fresh cardboard shreds in here, and I fed them some chicken feed. Let's scrape back that and see if we see any. No, that looks like they done ate all the chicken feed. Yeah, looks like they done ate all the chicken feed that I had in here. So that's good. That's good. They ate all that. And you see this right here? Let me zoom in on it. These are worm castings, y'all. Let me get my finger out of the way so it'll focus. All this you see here, this fine material piled up around the sides here, this is worm castings, y'all. So it looks like they've been really active around the sides. I'm just going to dig down in the middle and see what the temperature feels like. Right in the middle here. Let's scrape this back. I'm not seeing any soldier fly larvae. Alright, alright. Alright. A little warm. Just slightly warm to the touch. Not very warm at all. Barely any difference, really. But just slightly warm. I'm not seeing any worms directly in the center. Let me zoom in there so you can see too. Now, let me get over here in the corner. I'll zoom in right before I start taking it up there. Switch to front camera. No, I don't want to switch to front camera. My thumb must have pressed the wrong button, y'all. Alright, now I'm going to dig in here. Oh, I can feel how fine this feels. All these worm castings over here in the corner. Oh, yeah, look at there. Look at all them worms, y'all. They're congregating in the corner, and it's nice and cool over here in the corner, too. It doesn't feel that warm in the center, but it is noticeably cooler in the corners. In the corner. So it must be a pretty good temperature difference between the corners and the edge of the bin. Oh, man, look at there. Look at there, y'all. Look at there. Woo-wee. Man, they are turning that into some beautiful castings. And look at all those red wigglers, y'all. Oh, man. They're looking great. That's what I like to see, y'all. That's what I like to see. I hadn't made any worm orders recently, so y'all must have forgot I'm in the worm business. I guess since I ain't been doing the walkthrough daily, you guys forgot I sell worms. So y'all, if you're into getting some red wigglers and you need any and you're in the market for some, I sure would appreciate some support. If you guys would like to buy some worms from me, the links are down in the description. If you click on them, those will take you over to our eBay store. And y'all, I sell worm castings. Let me get a shot of them worm castings. Let me get over here. Look at there. Look at here. Let me just look at here. Let me zoom in on this. Look at that. We got worms in them too. There's worms and then there are worm castings. I got just about as many worms in the worm castings as I do the worm bins, y'all. And y'all, if you order some worm castings from me, you're gonna get everything. You're gonna get the worms, the cocoons, if there are any in here. Look at all these worms in here. So there's lots of worms. If you order worm castings from me, you're going to get all the goodies. All the goodies. These are raw, unscreened, unfiltered. They're going to come with, it's mostly worm castings, but if you can see, let me zoom in there. There are bits of sticks and twigs and wood chips. I don't really see no cardboard shreds that I can see in here. They're mostly just wood chips. But I think the wood chips are good because those are like little homes, little hotels for the microorganisms living in the castings. But anyhow, you get all the goodie. You get all the goodie. Everything. The worms, the cocoons, and of course, the most important part, the castings. And that there is the biologically active organic soil amendment fertilizer for your garden or your plants, whatever kind of plants you're growing. It's really an all-purpose fertilizer. And y'all, I like to call it a soil amendment more than a fertilizer, but it does have fertilizer qualities. But really what you're trying to get out of these is the biological life in the castings. That's what revitalizes your garden soil when you add that to it. And again, you can see the condensation's built up here on the inside of the lid. Some worms crawling around there. Whew, I feel like I got mosquitoes biting me. Y'all, it's so humid and rainy. The mosquitoes are out in full force around here. Oh, man. But yeah, y'all, like I say, we got red wigglers over at our eBay store that I can sell you. I sell quarter-pound packages, which is approximately 250 red wigglers, and that's enough to get you a worm bin started. Especially if you're starting out with a small bin. I'm currently not selling larger quantities, half-pound and 1-pound packages. I may start back selling those again here soon. Might give it another month. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to kind of wing it. I'm playing it by ear. But if you're into, oh, there's some tape I didn't get off that cardboard. Look at there. I'll get that off right now. I'll sweep that up in a little bit. Yeah, I try to always get the tape off my cardboard. But y'all, if you need any worm castings, like that right there. If you need any good worm castings, or you need some nice, lively red wigglers, I can hook you up, y'all. I can hook you up. Oh, look back there in the corner, y'all. Look there. Look there. Look at all them worm castings piled up there in the corner, y'all. That's worm castings, y'all. Look at there. Look at that. Ooh, that's the goodie, y'all. That's the good stuff. I'm telling you. That's great stuff for your garden. Any kind of plants you're growing, especially you cannabis growers out there. Man, them things is good for cannabis growers. Now, ooh, I feel some heat coming right there. Let me see. I felt a little bit of heat coming up right there. Let's get under here and see what we see. Oh, man, look at all those castings. See, let me zoom in. Look at all the castings. You can see they're congregating around the edge of the bin and in the corners, because that's where all the castings are concentrated, as you can see. Just zoom in so you can see better. Wish it would zoom. Wish it would focus, right? Alright, now let me scrape back this here in the center. Oh yeah, we got a little bit more. The center of this bin feels a little bit warmer than the one we previously come from. And I ain't seeing no worms in the center of the bin, which is not a surprise with how warm it is. They try to stay away from that heat, y'all. Now, I bet if we go over this corner, oh yeah, it feels cooler right to the touch immediately. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm gonna zoom in so you can see all these worms I'm seeing. Yep, they're right there. Look at there. Lots and lots of red wigglers. Yep. Ooh. I need to get in here and fluff these bins up a little bit. Spread this cardboard around that's in the center that they ain't getting to. I need to work that around to the corners and to the edge of the bin so they can get at it. If it ain't over there near the edge where it's cooler, they ain't gonna be able to get at it. If it stays in the center where it's hot, they're gonna stay away from that heat, y'all. All right. Let me just kind of fix that like that right there. All right, moving along to the next bin. Again, lots of condensation underneath the lid there. I apologize. Had to wipe my face. Oh yeah. As you can see, again, they're congregating near the edge of the bin and in the corners. That's evidenced by all the worm castings you see piling up here. See? And see how they pretty much eat all the cardboard? Let me zoom out so you can see better. See how they pretty much eat all the cardboard around the perimeter of the bin, but none in the middle? That's probably because I bet it's warm right here in the middle. And they're trying to stay away from that heat, y'all. I ain't seeing no black soldier fly larvae, which is good. We don't want to see none if we can help it. I don't really need those boogers in here messing up my stuff. Let me get over here in this corner and let's see what they look like. Oh yeah, I can feel them. Oh yeah, look at there. Oh yeah, look at there. Let me zoom in so we can see them a little better. Zoom out. All right. Ooh, that's cool right there. Look at there. Y'all know what that is, right? Y'all know what that is? That's the forbidden spaghetti. I know, it's been a long time since I said that, ain't it? Y'all already forgot, I bet. Y'all done forgot about the forbidden spaghetti. Ooh. The intestines of the earth. Y'all, if you're a serious gardener, you gotta get you a worm bin. This is the best fertilizer, organic fertilizer you can make at home all by yourself. Well, not all by yourself, with the help of your red wiggler friends. You can recycle your cardboard and paper waste and any of your food scraps out your house, as long as it ain't got no oils and fats all over it. You don't want to give them no oil or nothing like that, because that oil will coat the skin of the worms and they breathe through their skin. So if you get any oil on the worms, that'll make them suffocate. They won't be able to breathe. Hey, Mr. Gnome, how's it going, buddy? Top of the morning to you, Lucas. How are you? Oh, I'm doing all right, Mr. Gnome. I appreciate that. Oh, how are you? This is an old egg carton I had that was about to fall apart, so I decided to feed it to the worms. For any of you folks out there local to the Pelion, South Carolina area, I sell chicken eggs for $3 a dozen. Look at there, there's our first there's our first black soldier fly larvae we've seen. How about that? Come here, you little booger. Ha-ha! Wee-hee! Alright, anyways. But yep, they're doing the same thing here. They're along the edges, it looks like. No, we don't want to stop recording. My thumb's trying to stop the video, y'all. But y'all can see they are along the edges, staying cool over here in the corners and in the edge of the bin. Dig down right here. Oh yeah. What's that thermometer say, y'all? Right on 80. Right about 80 degrees in the center of the bin. As y'all know, red wigglers don't like it above 90. Well, they don't much like it above 80 too much either. But once you get past 90, it can kill them, y'all. I think at 95 degrees, they die at 95 degrees, is what I understand. And I can attest to the fact that they don't like the heat. Once the heat starts rising above 85, 90, they stay away from that part of the bin. So do whatever you can to keep your bins from getting too warm. Whether that's adding some extra water to them, or I got some subscribers that talk about putting ice bottles or ice packs or ice in their bins to cool them down in the summer. Definitely make sure your bins are staying in the shade. If nothing else, they need to be in the shade, if nothing else. Oh, yeah. See, look right there where this cardboard, look here. See, this cardboard was laying right here along the edge. Now, look at here. I'm going to zoom in on it when you look at it. Look here. They're eating that cardboard already. Look at them. They're getting up in that corrugation in that cardboard. And I've heard they like the corrugated cardboard like this. They'll get up in there and they'll lay their cocoons up in this cardboard. Look at here. Oh, now we got more black soldier flies. Now we got more black soldier flies. Or soldier fly larvae, that is. I'm seeing them now. Oh, man, there is a lot of castings in this corner. Zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about here, y'all. I need to fluff these bins and go through and turn over the... Ooh, yeah. Look at there. And you can see that biota. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. See that orange stuff growing there? That's some type of biota. Whether that's fungi or bacterial, I imagine that's probably some type of fungus. But the worms love to eat stuff like that, y'all. The water, the moisture, I add that molasses to the water and mix that in. And the microbes and the fungi and the bacteria, they feed on that sugar. And that helps them colonize and you know, multiply in the soil and in the bedding here, in the cardboard and in the mushroom compost I put in here. And them worms love to eat the biota. I don't know if y'all know that, but the worms will eat. Yeah, they eat the cardboard. But I think what mostly the worms are eating is the fungus and the bacteria that's growing in and on all the other organic material. And so if you feed your microbes and you feed your fungi and your bacteria that's living in your worm bin, well, then you're feeding your worms. So that's what I think about. You got to feed your microbes, and your microbes feed your worms. That's kind of what I think about with the garden too. You know, when you're gardening and when I'm gardening, you're not really, in my opinion, I reckon, you're not really feeding the plants. You're feeding the soil. You're feeding the living organisms that call your soil in your garden, either it's a raised bed or your flower pots or your garden soil out in your garden, in your yard, or wherever you got your garden. You're really feeding the ecosystem that lives in your soil. And, well, that's my opinion. But if you feed your microbes, if you feed the soil food web, if you give them enough food to eat, well, then they'll help make all the nutrients in your soil water soluble and plant soluble so they can uptake them through their root systems. So think about it like that. You're trying to feed an ecosystem. You're trying to feed the soil food web in your garden or in your flower pots, and in turn, those will feed your plants. regardless of what kind of plants we talking about. It don't really matter, in my opinion. Now, I ain't no botanist. Now, I ain't no scientist. You know, I ain't got no degrees. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So y'all make sure y'all take that into consideration. Take that with a grain of salt, what I'm trying to tell you here. But I ain't never going to lie to you. If I tell you something, it's because I honestly and truly believe it. I promise. I ain't never going to lie to you. And y'all, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to feed the microbes in your soil. You're trying to feed the soil food web. And then as long as you got a good, healthy soil food web, well, then they're going to make the nutrients and all the goodies in your soil, they're going to make them soluble and readily available for the plant roots. The plants you plant in your soil, the roots will be able to uptake them nutrients and use them to make the plant stronger and produce whatever it is you're trying to produce. Now, you take that with a grain of salt, but that's what I'm telling you. That's what I think the truth is. You're trying to feed your soil food web. And if you can do that, then you can unlock the nutrients that's locked up in your soils and make them readily available for the root systems of your plants. And they'll grow better and healthier, and they'll produce whatever it is you're trying to produce. Look at there. I also get a lot of folks ask me if they can just buy worms and put them straight in their garden. And the answer is yes, you can do that. Now, the only caveat I would tell people that's doing that is these worms eat organic material. So if your garden don't have much organic material in it, you can put the worms there. But once they eat all the organic material that's in your garden, they're gonna vominos. They're gonna leave, right? Because well, they hungry and they're looking for food. So if you're going to add worms to your garden soil, just make sure you keep your organic material, keep plenty of organic material in your garden soil so that the worms will stay in your garden soil. Does that make sense? Because if you got really bad soil and don't have much organic material in your soil, especially your topsoil, if you're talking about red wigglers, well, then once they finish eating the food, they're going to leave. They're going to go find more food. So if you put the worms in your garden, and then you keep top dressing with compost and organic material, I would say mostly like compost, like mushroom compost, and really any kind of compost. But if you keep top dressing your garden with compost or other organic material like, mulch of some sort that's organic and will break down, then the worms will stick around and they'll help you break that stuff down when it gets into the topsoil. But if you don't have a lot of organic material in your garden soil and you don't add none, well, you can add all the worms you want to, but they ain't gonna stay. Because I've had people wonder, well, I put worms in my garden, but when I go back and look, they're gone. There ain't no worms there. Did they die? No, they didn't die. They left. When they run out of food, they left. And they went looking for more food. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna add worms to your soil or your garden bed, your raised bed, or whatnot, they're gonna eat the organic material in your soil. And once they eat all of it, well, they ain't gonna be very interested in sticking around. Just saying. So you gotta make sure you keep plenty of goodie for your worms to eat. Look at all these castings too, man. These castings are looking so good. I'm sorry if y'all get annoyed by how excited I get when I see these castings. Y'all, that's black gold. That is black gold for the garden right there, y'all. Look at there. I'm telling you. That's the goodie. That's the goodie, y'all. That's what we're trying to do. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, man, look at that. Forbidden spaghetti. So keep that in mind if you're going to get red wigglers or any kind of worm, probably. Now, I think night crawlers are a little different. They dig and they burrow down deep in the soil. So they're a little different. Now, they do eat organic matter and material like red wigglers. They just don't eat as fast or as much. And they dig down deep in the soil. So it's kind of hard to replenish the organic material deep down in the soil. Excuse me, my voice is cracking because I had a frog in my throat, y'all. But you still got to add organic material to your garden bed, even if you're using night crawlers. But if you're going to use worms to put in your raised beds or whatnot, just make sure you realize you got to replenish the organic material, because they're going to eat it. And as long as you keep, I don't know what the percentage should be, but as long as you keep a good percentage, a high percentage of organic material in your soil, well, then you'll keep worms. And you got to keep it moist too. Now, if they ain't moist, they ain't going to stick around. Because the environment's got to be at least 50% humidity or moisture for the worms to stick around. So if you want a dry climate or an arid climate, you're going to definitely need to mulch. You're definitely going to need to put down something to retain the moisture in the soil so you can hang on to your worms and keep them. If not, I'm not sure about that. You might just be better off breeding your worms indoors or in the shade or in the shed somewhere where they're away from the heat and the elements and the sun, and harvesting your castings and then putting your castings in your garden bed. That might be the better way to go in that situation. But definitely, you got to keep your organic material up in your soil, and you got to keep it moist, either by putting mulch down on top of the soil and see, the mulch will do a couple things, y'all. It'll keep the sun from directly hitting the topsoil and heating it up and sterilizing the life in the top of your soil too. But that mulch will keep the sun and the UV rays from hitting the soil, which is good for the life in the soil. And also, it'll keep the ground and the soil moister longer. And so, you'll be better at keeping your plants moist. And the worms got to have moisture, y'all. If it ain't moist, the worms don't like it. I'm telling you. They got to be moist or they'll die. All right. Oh, man. Look at there. Look at all the worms in this cardboard. Oh, man. This thing's falling to pieces. Look at here. Look at all these castings in this corner. Let me zoom in so y'all can see. What's that, a roach? What is that? Yeah, it looks like a little baby roach. Oh, I feel a bunch of worms right there. Oh, I forgot to say, it's the last bin, everybody. Last bin, everybody. Last bin, everybody. Last bin, everybody. Oh, look at there. Zoom in. Oh, yeah. Look at all them little baby worms, too, y'all. Yep, when you order worms from me, you're going to get everything. I don't sift nothing out. You get the cocoons. You're going to get babies. You're going to get juveniles and adults. You get everything, y'all. And I ship USPS, priority mail. So hopefully they'll get to you pretty quick if you order them. Don't forget, the links are down in the description if you want to help support the channel and support us. That'd be a great way to do it. Don't forget, I'm a worm farmer, y'all. That's what I do. I sell worms and I sell worm castings. Y'all. But hey, if you want to support the channel, but you don't need no castings and you don't need no worms, that's all right. I totally get it. I understand. Not everybody's into worms and castings, y'all. But if you still want to support the channel, all you got to do, that's easy. It's free. All you got to do, give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with a friend that likes gardening or raising worms or castings or getting castings. Share it with them on the other social media platforms. Y'all don't believe it or not, sharing that out there to your other platforms really does help the channel grow. And every time the channel grows, I might get a few more orders, and them orders help support me and my family, and I sure do appreciate it. God bless you guys for doing that. I sure would appreciate it. But yeah, it's easy. Just like the channel. Just give this video a thumbs up. Maybe share this video with a friend or on one of your other social media platforms. And of course, come on over there and click that subscribe button if you ain't already. When we get to 2,500 subscribers, we're having a silver giveaway, and I'm giving away 2 American Silver Eagles. That's right, 2 troy ounces of fine silver going to one of you lucky viewers as soon as we get there. And y'all, we ain't got but about 176 more not likes. We need about 176 more of you folks to click the subscribe button, and that's going to trigger that giveaway. And of course, don't forget, we give away 2 90% silver dimes every week here on the channel. I announce the winners on our Saturday live that I do at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Come check that out if you ain't already. And I announce the winners to our 2 silver giveaways we do every week, or 2 silver giveaways we do every week, not 4, 2 I mean. But I give away a silver dime to 1 random commenter on the channel. So all you got to do is drop a comment in this video or any video or post I do on the channel. And that gets you an entry to win a 90% silver dime. And then on Saturday mornings, I drop an extravaganza video. And that's a video where I take a daily video of me collecting the eggs from a chicken coop. And if you watch that video on Saturdays, and you count up all the eggs I collect in the video and drop that number in the comment section, if you got the number of eggs I collected right in that video, you'll get put on the wheel of names with all the other folks who got the number right. And that's another chance to win a silver dime, 90% silver dime. So I give away 2 every week. And I announce the winners at 4 p.m. Eastern time during our live on Saturdays. If you want to, come join us on Saturdays to find out who won. I sure would appreciate it. We sit around for 30 minutes or an hour and we talk to each other, and you know, I announce the winners and we have chit chat and see what's going down. But all right, y'all, it's kind of hot. I'm sweaty now. Ooh, look at there. It's kind of hot. I'm sweaty now, and I need to go over there and feed Jack and the girls. I know they're excited and hungry. They're like, "Hurry up, Lucas! Come on, feed us." So it's already almost 80. It's about 78 degrees now, I'm sure. It's getting on close to 80. I'm sweating like it is anyways. But hey, y'all, I sure would appreciate any of that support for any of those things I just mentioned. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share the video. And y'all, if you made it this far, you already know it. I appreciate it. God bless y'all. And y'all, come on back now. You hear?